What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40K. Well, actually, it's not really me talking about 40K, it's me showcasing my Warhammer 40K armies. Lately, I've been getting a few people asking us what armies we play, can we see your armies? So, we actually have showcases that we've done in the past, so this is just one video for all the showcases for all four of my armies. I've got Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, the Tau, and Age of Sigmar's Night Haunts. So without further ado, enjoy the video.
What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm here to show you another army that I collect. If you haven't been checking out the videos recently, I did all the 40k armies that I currently have in my possession. They are the Tau, the Chaos Space Marines, and Space Marines, and there's a playlist where you can check out all of our armies. So please be sure to check that out if you want to see the awesomeness of those armies. But today we are taking a slightly different route as I show you my army for Age of Sigmar. It's a little different because obviously this page is about 99% of Warhammer 40k. That's the lore we dive into. However, about a few months ago we decided to take a little detour and dip our hands and our toes, is that a saying, into the world of Age of Sigmar. And with doing so, we decided to play some really interesting armies. And the thing about Age of Sigmar is that the sculpts are very dynamic and they got mounts. I really love mounts. So I decided to look around and see what armies intrigued me, and I was down to two. It was either going to be the Tree Folk, aka the Sylvaneth, or I was going to go with the Night Haunts, one of the more newer armies that was it had a whole bunch of new models and new rules come out for them. So I decided to dive into the Night Haunt army, and luckily I found an army on eBay that was reasonably priced and painted to tabletop standard. So I'm like, this is perfect. I bought it, and now I'm showcasing it to you guys. So the thing about Night Haunts is that they play differently than what I'm used to with my 40k armies. My 40k armies kind of focus on elite units, where the Night Haunts, they work very well synergetically, but at the same time, hordes is a great style to play them in. So with that being said, I'm going to give you a little bit of lore if you have no idea what Night Haunts are, or if this is your first time actually hearing anything about Age of Sigmar. You kind of get to experience a little bit of that history from the Night Haunts and see if maybe Age of Sigmar is something that you guys might want to look into. But for now, check out the awesome models that I have been showcasing here, and let's dive into a little bit of the Night Haunt lore. The Night Haunts are the horrors that haunt the land of the living. They are the terrors that prowl beyond life's edge. They wait with the patience of the eternal, yet their hunger drives them with insatiable needs. The need to hunt, to harm, and to destroy life. For that is all that is left for them to do. They come in many forms, but they are all destined to forever stalk the mortal realms, and to drag the living into the same doom that they are eternally racked with. The Night Haunts not only have lost their lives, but also their physical bodies. While mortal flesh rots away, the spirit lives, taking on a new phantasmal aspect. Whatever blissful underworld rest or eternal peace that was promised to these souls turned out to be nothing but lies. Instead, the Night Haunts are fated with afterlives of damnation, stripped of any compassion that they had before death. all warmth is eradicated, leaving behind the only negatives. What remains of the spirit is bitter, hate-filled, and bound by necromancy, often in some cruel, ironic way, linked to either their deaths or their deeds in life. They must forever haunt the mortal realms, to seek out and punish those who dare to still live. Though almost impervious to physical harm, night haunts carry with them their own hell. Some are cursed by the dark manner of their death. For example, those who met their ends in chains might have hoped to escape their captivity in the afterlife. However, in the spiritual world, they are now bound by more manacles than ever. Other finds their deeds in life turned against them. A mortal who spent a lifetime healing and nurturing might find that, as a spirit, they can only destroy. Such morbid rewards fill the night haunts with rage and hatred. And that is all thanks to the perpetrator of these eternal torments, that is, Nagash, the god of the underworld, the great necromancer, the supreme lord of the undead. Nagash finds the twisted irony that he is inflicted to be naught but poetic justice. His vindictive nature, limitless spite, and unfathomable ego have created the most terrible of spirits, geists, and wraiths. For a single night haunt might be able to terrorize a village. A pair acting together could easily leave an entire fiefdom quaking in fear. But when gathered in mass and united beneath an indomitable new malevolence, an ancient terror, no longer can they content to haunt civilization's edges. Phantasmal forces will now gather into spectral armies. And this is no mere haunting, but a shock assault that seeks nothing less than to destroy life itself. They are usually led by a greater undead spirit. Such an army can destroy an empire, and these empires will succumb to nothingness and become the stuff of dire legend. So that was a little bit of lore for them. It's just like you heard these warriors, these people, when they passed, they get tormented even worse. Like you were saying, if you're a nurse and you're helping all these people, then you're kind of forced to kill all the people you helped. It gets so interesting because the more you read about them, such as the named characters, the more, I guess, hypocritical their actions and their lives become. And overall, it's just crazy. Like, you could become a king who leads giant armies, and in death you're just a lowly soldier, always forced to follow another person's command. And this is hilarious, like how that happens to them, but that's what makes them so bitter and so ready for violence. And because of that, they're even, scarier and stronger out in the battlefield. Gameplay wise, I've played maybe 3 or 4 games with them. They're really fun. Like I said before, their playstyle is very different than what I'm used to, and it's interesting to just see Gershwan and my buddies just like cower in fear, because they're probably one of the better armies, at least nowadays, in the Age of Sigmar lineup. But that may change because there's different armies coming out, such as the Sons of Bahamut, I believe. They got like these massive ogres that are coming out. But yeah, I mean, the army itself, it could be painted better, no question about it. But they're okay. I'm okay with how they look, how they came out. If I was gonna add anything else to this army, it would probably be more of the regular troops, just so I can have bigger blobs to like assault and teleport in and whatnot. And yeah, that's all I got for this one, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the lore. Hopefully this has made you guys a little bit more interesting to, check out Age of Sigmar and see their lineup of awesome sculpts and stuff like that. So go ahead and check that out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hit that like button, keep subscribed for more things 40K. And as always, I'm the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm back to showcase another one of my armies. You guys asked for it, and here they are. The reason why I'm doing this, besides you guys asking for it, is because we get a huge influx of subscribers, and a lot of times they don't go back into the backlog of videos and check out other stuff. That's why sometimes when you guys ask questions on the Greater Wall, or ask for other suggestions of videos for us to make, they're already out there, and that's why you don't see them, or that's why we don't read your question, because it's already been answered in previous videos. Sometimes we do, re-update them and answer questions again, but for the most part, that's why. So we do have a playlist that showcases our armies, and I like to do this every twice a year, just so you could see the progression of our armies, what we've added, what conversions we've made, and all this stuff. So I decided to show you the army that I've been creating for 2-3 years now, and that is my Fan Legion, the 11th Legion, the Celestial Sons. I've got a whole playlist on it titled Codex Celestial Sons, if you want to know the lore on it. I'm currently halfway done through the quote-unquote official lore on them, and I've been stuck on the most pivotal part of it because I really want it to sound badass and make sense with the lore. Essentially, it is when the Emperor enacts the Edict of Obliteration and basically destroys the Legion and removes all symbols and any inklings of their existence. So yeah, it has to be good because it is the turning point for my Legion. So what you see here is what I've gotten commissioned for the most part, because pretty much everything that I have in this army has been commissioned. Dark Bunny Creatives, Hydra Miniature Paintings, they've done some work in the army, and Smells Like Wargaming did a really great job back in the day, but he doesn't do commissions anymore. I think he became a GW store manager, which really sucks, because I can't get any other stuff commissioned from him. But, good for him. Moving on up in the world, am I right? But yeah, so the images you see here, they're all fan-made warriors. A lot of it is Horus Heresy models, because obviously if they were the 11th Legion, one of the Lost Legions, they wouldn't have newer armor, or Primaris for that matter, because obviously they didn't survive, quote-unquote, until the 41st millennia. Although I may be adding Primaris later on, I don't know exactly, because I've thought of a way to make it make sense as to how they have come with the Primaris and to bolster their ranks. But that's a video for another time. What I'm doing here is showcasing the army. So for the most part, this army is complete. When I go into Battlescribe and I kind of tally everything up, before I put the points, this one is around 2,500 to 2,700 points, depending on how I, what I call a certain unit and stuff like that. Because for the most part, a lot of my dreadnoughts, I'm using the Contemptor Dreadnought, because in my opinion they look way badass. So, and then I've also got Centurions, and a little bit later on in the video, you're going to see some Catan. So the reason why I have Catan in this army is because after the Edict of Obliteration, the remnants of the 11th Legion basically found a Necron tomb world where they used it as a sort of base of operations. It was protected enough that the Imperium that was hunting them down wouldn't find them, but on the other side of that, they were still having to fight against all the canoptic constructs that were protecting the tomb world, because in the core of this world there was actually a prison of the gods, and within this prison there were Catan shards. Through years and years of searching and research and all that stuff, they managed to harness the power of the sharded Catan, and that's why they have these Catans at their disposal. I think they've got like 4 shards of one Catan, and then they found a single shard of the other. But again, I'll get to that lore hopefully soon. I also have another playlist just titled Celestial Sons that has old lore mixed in with like theories and overall just a whole bunch of information that may or may not make the quote-unquote official cut. But if you guys have any ideas as to how to incorporate Catan into your Space Marine armies, let me know. Because it'd be really interesting to see how you guys make that work. Because out of all the fan submissions of armies that we've covered in the past, I've never seen one harness Catan. There have been some that have used like the weaponry of their like allies or weaponry of Xenos that they've killed, although heretical as that may be. But yeah, it's another thing that really separates my army from others. Obviously, I won't be able to use that in like official tournaments and stuff like that. But seeing Space Marines fighting alongside Catan, that's pretty cool. The only downside to that is that obviously Catan won't listen to the Space Marines, so there's a chance that the Catan might rebel and, attack the Space Marines themselves. But I think it's worth it seeing how destructive they are, lore-wise more so than in the actual tabletop. But I haven't played with them in a while, so who knows, maybe they got some pretty awesome nerfs, or not nerfs, but buffs coming their way with their Psychic Awakening, which we haven't gotten for the Necrons yet. Something that I'm looking forward to. But yeah, I'm really pumped to see, your guys's models, so send them our way. Any pictures, you have like a portfolio link to it or something like that, send it on over to the Facebook page, because that's something that I really enjoy, is looking at other people's armies. Whenever the Warhammer community posts like their, like artist of the day or whatever, and you see all these beautiful painted models and all these epic conversions, I'm like, wow, like I wish I was that talented to like make an army the way I want it, take my time and paint it up real good, edge highlighting and dry brushing, and it's just crazy how talented some of these people are. Which is why you guys should hire some commission artists, especially during this time that people have lost their jobs and whatnot. If you've gotten your stimulus in, if you live in the US or wherever it is, maybe use a little bit of that money to help some fellow wargamers out and have your army commissioned, painted up, especially by Dark Bunny Creatives, Hydra Miniature Paintings. Let them know. One Mind Syndicate set you. So, you can help out the hobby and keep us wargamers playing and getting ready to play as we, hunker down in our houses to wait this whole quarantine thing out. But yeah, the models you see here, the Terminators, those are probably my favorite models just because of the bulkiness of how I believe it's Tartarus armor looked, no, Cataphracti, how the Cataphracti armor looked back in the Horus Heresy days. So, I don't know, in my opinion, Forge World has the best sculpts, more so than 40K, and you can really tell in the way, everything looks more gritty and, I don't know, just in my opinion, a little bit more grim dark, because when you look at these, and then you look at the Primaris Marines, they're a lot more sleek and shiny, which makes sense, because I guess they were going through a civil war during the Heresy, and, yeah, they're still in war right now, but most of the Primaris are like new and shiny and stuff like that, so it is what it is. The focus of this army was to make most of my units kind of elite, since they are the survivors of the Edict of Obliteration, and any Space Marine that got wounded to the point where they couldn't continue the fight, they all got interred into dreadnoughts. So I have a lot of dreadnoughts in this army, but at the same time, you need your troops. Something that I've learned from playing my Tau. As stubborn as I am, troops are important, so I do have some regular Space Marines, which, in my opinion, these just look really cool. Looking back at it, like the helmets they have here from, especially for my commander here, Sol Oros. His helmet is very reminiscent of what the helmets for the Primaris looks like nowadays, so maybe that's where they drew their inspiration from. But yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. Let me know what you think of my army. If you guys want to create your own army, your own fan-made chapter, Gershwin did a really great video on it. So check out the backlog of videos that we have so you guys can figure out how to make your own lore for your homemade chapters. And that's all I got for today. What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm here to talk to you about the army that I am showcasing. And as you can see from the thumbnail, it is none other than my Chaos army. This army is near and dear to me because it's probably, do I say it? Yeah, it's probably my favorite army that I have in my possession, and that's counting the Tau, the Space Marines, and even the Age of Sigmar army. So the reason why I like this one so much is just because with Chaos, you have so much to build upon. Because you're not just playing Space Marines, you're playing Space Marines aligned with Chaos Demons, aligned with the Dark Mechanicus. It's just a conglomeration of a whole bunch of different factions that you can use within your army. Death Guard, Thousand Sons, you have whole supplements and books to use at your disposal, and there's just so much of like creativity and units that you can put into your army, and that's why I like this one so much. So I'm gonna start with the lore behind my army. They're called the Infernal Sons, and they are the Space Marines from the 11th Legion that have turned towards Chaos. So I've been creating my own personal fan lore for the 11th Legion, which are known as the Celestial Sons, and about half of them have turned to Chaos, all because of the machinations of the God of Change, Tzeentch. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're all Tzeentch devotees. I have the main person that is in control of all this, and that is the Wharfsmith, Dante Hueco, who's been just getting corrupted more and more and more by Chaos, but through these corrupting things, he's become more mechanical in nature. He took over a Forge World, and from there he rules alongside his generals, the Bloody Eclipses. And each one of these generals are aligned to a specific god. You have Khorne, Tzeentch, Slaanesh, Nurgle, and you even have another one that is for Chaos Undivided, or maybe it is a minor god. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to make that lore. I'm thinking I'm just going to use the minor god because I did create a minor god lore, the God of Despair, Anobaith, which I'm going to try and link that at the end of this video so you guys can check it out. But if not, then it's just going to be just a regular Chaos Undivided. So he's going to have 5 generals, and because of that, that just brings so much lore, so many models that I could use within the army. When it comes to picking the actual models for the generals, there was a conversion that I saw on eBay that I just had to get, and that was it was basically, I'm using it as a Chaos Hellwright and a Dark Abiant, which is really great. The Demon Princes are really good too, because I went over to, I believe it was called Kingdom Death. That's the other company that does really great sculpts and stuff like that. And there was the Black Dragon that you see in the images, as well as the Khorne Demon. Those were just so amazing, I couldn't pass them up. And yeah, there's just so much going on with this army. It just, the way everything meshes together, even though they're like different in terms of appearance. Like there's no unifying color scheme. I guess the closest would be like Black Legion colors, with like the black, the gold, the bronze. So that really ties it all together and makes it work. The one thing that I'm kind of lacking is troops, but I found that to kind of twist it in my way by just using Bloodletters, Plague Bearers as the troops, and just plop out blobs of them on the battlefield. When it comes to actual rules, however, I'm going to be playing them mainly as renegades. However, depending on who the warlord is at the time, it might change to like Death Guard, it all depends on who it is and what faction they're being allied to. So yeah, I am currently at, I believe it was 3,000 points, at least that's what Battlescribe says, before I start adding in all the war gear options and all that stuff. Yeah, 3,039 points. So that is a lot of points that I can work with. Easily I can make this a 4K army. And it's just really amazing as to how everything has worked out. The image you see here, this was actually given to me via one of you subscribers on Facebook. He said, hey, I read the lore, it's really amazing. I've created a model from scratch, and he wanted to give it to me as a means to just, kind of put in good karma to the world, pay it forward, so to speak. So, huge thank you for that. And I've actually made him the corrupted version of my Primarch Alec Elric. It works really well because the same sculpt I have for him is that of horse. As you can see, that one was horse, but just converted. So it works, it really works. When I play him, I don't actually use Horus's rules, because obviously Horus is dead. So I use the rule set for Abaddon the Despoiler, and he works out pretty good. The rest of this army, as you can see, is just, I think it's probably painted the best. Model-wise, they all look pretty good, unique. The varying levels of skill when it comes to painting varies a little bit, but for the most part, I'd say it's easily above tabletop ready. For example, this guy that you see here, this I don't know, sometimes I play him as like a demon prince, sometimes I play him as a spawn. It was actually painted by Hydra Miniature Paintings over on Facebook. Really great guy, does awesome work. Can't wait to commission him again for more awesome models, but check him out for more commissioning needs, because this dude paints really, really well. And just the way like the airbrushing and the blood and all that, it just looks really amazing. It sucks that I can't really paint anything, because I really suck. The only thing I've painted are going to be the obliterators that you see near the end of the video. And even then, that took me like 3 weeks, and I didn't quite really like how they came out. In my opinion, they look a little bit too glossy, but that's just me. If you guys have any painting tips, any painting tricks, or anything like that, let me know, because as far as I know, it's supposed to like base coat them, give them the first coat, and then second coat, details, highlights, and I don't know, I just feel like I'm gonna mess it up, and that the whole, like, the fear of me messing it up pulls me away from actually doing it. But maybe with this new Eldar army, I'll actually, use it as a means to get better at painting. So we'll see. But yeah, if you guys want more lore on this army, I greatly recommend you guys to go to our playlists and check out the Codex Celestial Sons, because that is where you'll find lore on the Infernal Sons, and overall just a whole bunch of awesome 40k lore. If you really want to know how to like create your own fan lore, I'd say that's a good example for you guys to check out. If not, Gershwin actually created like a whole 30-minute video as to how to formulate your own fan lore. Another great opportunity to learn how to homebrew. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for this video. I'm gonna sign out now, but still enjoy the rest of these Chaos Showcase. I've already done my Tau, and this is obviously Chaos. I've got Space Marines on the way, and I've got Night Haunts from the Age of Sigmar coming up later on in the week. So let me know what you guys think about this army, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more things Warhammer 40k, and as always, I've been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and if you've been following me on the social medias such as Facebook and on the community page for the YouTube channel, you've probably noticed that I've been posting pictures and images of my army, essentially showcasing them to you guys. And I like to do this every couple of months, every so often, just to show you that even though we do focus on lore videos and stuff like that, we're also hobbyists, we're also gamers, and these are the armies that I, the Sound Alchemist, personally play. The thing about my Tau army, which is what I'm going to be showcasing and talking about here, is that unfortunately I didn't do any of the painting for it. Most of this stuff has been bought off of eBay, and the reason for that is because I used to have my army back in 5th edition that I built and I painted, but we went through a little, like, I don't know, year and a half where we never played, so I sold it off. But eventually I'm like, yeah, we're going to be, diving into 40K. I got to pick up the Tau. They're the first army that caught my eye, and I just love the lore. I love everything about Commander Farsight, so I decided to start from scratch. So the images you see here, the color scheme doesn't quite match, and the different levels of painting skills will vary. But I am trying to somewhat unify them. I'm thinking about stripping them down and then repainting them, at least the bad ones. Or if you see here, like the white paint on the broadsides, in some areas I tried to make it look worn down and chipped, but I think what I really need to do is use known oil to kind of make them look more rugged. Let me know if that's a good thing to do, or should I just repaint them? Because I know painting with white is kind of difficult. The other color scheme that I was also thinking about would be more of a grayish red, kind of like the Farsight colors, but more of an emphasis on the gray. Again, let me know your thoughts down below. But yeah, this army, it's a really fun army, and the theme for it was battlesuits and drones. I am notorious for not playing Fire Warriors, but I kinda worked around that by using some drones and modifying them with pulse rifles so that they could be a proxy for Fire Warriors. Obviously that won't work if I'm taking this army to like tournaments and stuff like that, but playing with like friends, it works, it gets the job done. Especially since, again, I'm not going to be using too many Fire Warriors, but that's why I don't win so much. But hey, it's all about having fun with your army, am I right? Maybe not. But when you tally this army up, it's actually a lot of points. It's around 2,400 points before you start adding in all the war gear and whatnot. So easily this army can be up to like 3,000 points, depending on what you fit them out with. And I think I'm done. I've got Farsight, I've got Commander Shadow's Son as my 2 warlords. But lore-wise, I'm not actually using Shadow Sun. She's actually going to be a fan-made commander that I came up with. So, as you look at the rest of the images here, I'm going to give you the lore for this army, which I like to call the Burning Moon Contingent. And its focus is on being a force for the Farsight Empire. But anyway, let's dive into this lore on the Burning Moon Contingent. The Enclaves are a series of Tau-controlled worlds that function independently from that of the greater Tau Empire. They are located in the far right side of the Damocles Gulf area of the Segmentum Ultima, and they are led by none other than the infamous renegade Commander Farsight. Even without the numbers and resources of the Tau Empire, the Enclaves have built massive colony domes, moon bases, and even a powerful orbital defense station throughout their territory. The warriors of the Enclaves are the most rebellious of the Tau, completely dismissing ethereal rule, and instead are choosing to follow Farsight's goals. The renegade Farsight has attained a mastery of Mont-Ka, otherwise known as the Killing Blow way of warfare. This type of battle doctrine has bled into the martial culture of the entire Fire Warriors of the Enclave. Therefore, these hot-blooded warriors are experts in close quarters combat. Even though the Ethereals of the Tau Empire have labeled Farsight as a renegade, many still see him as a legendary hero. Alongside Commander Shadowsun and Shas-O Kais, Farsight was trained by the legendary Commander Puretide, and now his teachings are being passed down to the new generation of heroes. The legendary bodyguards, the Eight. They have also many heroic feats to their name, such as Commander Bravestorm, Shazvre Ovessa, Commander Brightsword, Commander Shivastos, Shazvre Oblatai 9-0, Commander Arakon, and Sub-Commander Torchstar. And now we welcome 5 new elite warriors who have pledged their lives towards the Tau who call the Enclaves home. They are the 5 Embers, and in time they will ignite the fires of the future of the Farside Enclaves. And these 5 Embers are essentially the commanders for my army. You have Commander Shadowstar, which is a commander that wields the XV-86 Cold Star battlesuit. You also have Commander Moondust, which uses dual fusion blasters in an XV-8 Crisis battlesuit. Commander Iron Sun, the close friend to Farsight, and he uses the XV-802 Iridium battlesuits. And then you have a couple more that I haven't really thought up of the lore for them yet, but I'm getting there. And the whole thing about this army, seeing as how they're from the Enclaves, a lot of the material is kind of hard to come by, so that's why a lot of these battlesuits are going to be all battle scarred and worn down, seeing that since they're low on materials, they can't fix every single piece of armor and war gear and stuff like that, so it looks very worn down, rugged. Some are missing like shoulder pads, fingers, that kind of thing. So that's going to be another part of my army that I think I'm going to have fun, but at the same time a hard time recreating. Because again, the way they're painted right now, they look way too clean, and I need to dirty them up. So how do you guys do that when it comes to your armies? Does it depend on just like scratching them up, maybe getting some like what is it called? Those like scrubbers that you use to clean your dishes and just like go into town on them? I don't know, because I feel like if you overdo it, then it's just going to make the model look like shit, and the paint job won't be well represented. So again, let me know what are your tips and tricks for all you wargamers and hobbyists out there. For now, I'm pretty happy with the army. I don't think there's anything else I really need. Well, I need to finish painting the Shadow Sun, which I recently got and built. So that will be my test. I'll see if I could actually call myself a painter after this, after I finish basing it and painting it. Whew, it's going to be a while, because the last time I painted something, it was the Obliterators for the Chaos Space Marines, and I think I went too overboard on it, and I don't know, they kind of came out shiny. Maybe it was the gloss I was using or something. So we'll see how Shadow Sun comes out. And then the recent purchase for my Tau army was the second Riptide, because Riptides are amazing. I definitely recommend using them because they're really good. They were super overpowered back in 7th edition with the Riptide spam, where every army was allying with the Tau just so they could bring Riptides in. So it kind of carries over to 8th edition. So since I'm not using a lot of Fire Warriors, this is kind of my backup, bring in 2 Riptides to kind of make up for the firepower of the Tau. Be sure to stay subscribed because I've got a few more of these showcases coming soon. I collect Chaos Space Marines, regular Space Marines, and I'm also going to be showing you my Age of Sigmar army, which consists of the Night Hunt. So as always, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next episode. This has been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.